Welcome to Thriving with Nature, a podcast that gives you the tools you need to live a modern lifestyle that helps regenerate our planet. And now your host, Hayley Weatherburn.
Episode 43, How We Can Be the Regenerative Change We Want to See in the World. Good morning, Thrivers. It's Hayley here. Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. It's morning here in the jungle. And hopefully you can hear the jungle noises in the background of the tropical birds, the cicadas. It's quite early here and it's this beautiful hum. And so I wanted to share today about a vision of the future, what I see and what Thriving with Nature is all about. And it's to do with slightly with the US elections. I personally don't follow too much of politics. I get a bit disheartened in the fact that I feel, this is 100% my opinion, is that the current way politics is set up isn't moving as fast as the world is moving at this point. And so what I like to feel, I like to take the Gandhi approach to life, is be the change you want to see in the world. And I don't want to sit around waiting for corporate companies or governments to save us. So where I was sharing this with my mentor yesterday, we were talking about some visions of Thriving with Nature and the future, and I was sharing the reason why Thriving with Nature was born is because I believe if us, the layman people, the everyday person, can shift and change their behavior thus that they are living a regenerative lifestyle, as in contributing to the natural cycle of life and nature, that they thrive as well as nature thrives around them because of the decisions they're making, then if enough of us do that, we'll shift this world without waiting for governments. So that's why Thriving with Nature is born. So I have this vision, and I often use a mango tree as an example. Like if you take a mango tree comparison to a human, right? Look at a mango tree. Is there any waste or things that do not get used in the part of the cycle of a life of a mango tree? It isn't, right? So as the mango is growing, yes, leaves and branches can fall off, but those leaves and even mangoes down the line will fall off, but they will start rotting and they'll actually contribute. And it's not even just the rotting, it's the microbes starting to consume and eat that for energy to produce other beneficial nutrients for the plant that it's fallen under, so that gets used again and comes back up into the mango. So the only things that come from outside the mango is, of course, water and sunshine. Sunshine is the energy, and water helps to hydrate and flow and keep everything moving. And so that natural cycle of nature it's thriving, that even the waste of the mango is actually beneficial for the rest of the ecosystem that it's in. Not only that, if you start to expand out, the mango tree can provide food for other animals, it can provide shelter, it can provide, many different things inside that nature's ecosystem. So let's take a human. Right now, the Western way, the way we've sort of all grown up is, yes, we've got some comforts and we're not getting as sick, and we're not, although some would disagree that we've shifted from hygiene issues to now just obesity and unprocessed and unnatural issues that are causing health issues, diseases that don't need to exist because of what's happening. So as a human, the waste we're producing, throwing out rubbish that we think we're throwing it in, we're putting it in, we're recycling it. A lot of the plastic recycled can't be recycled. There's putting our sewage waste is all together in this one big pile, and it's causing issues. the way we eat food and grow food is causing unnatural balances because we've separated, divided, and tried to conquer that way. And you can't. In nature, it all is biodiverse and it has to be combined together. And because of that, the chemicals and the processed food that we're putting in our body, our health is getting out of balance. So it's getting obese. So what if we could turn a human, the way we live, into living like a mango tree? And so Thriving with Nature is all about the behavioural differences we can make and the choices we can make, creating that new thought pattern so that you start to make those decisions to live a lifestyle that's still modern and thriving. I'm not saying you have to go and stand out in nature like a mango tree. I believe we have the intelligence and the technology, and there's a thing called biomimicry, which is learning from nature and creating products and things and systems so that it mimics nature, so that we can thrive with nature. So, okay, let's make this a little bit more practical. I'll share my experience at the moment. One of the things I know right now is my waste here up in the jungle. Because I moved away from where I had recycling, I can't, and I know that if I just give the rubbish to what they've got here, at the moment they don't really have a place to take it, and I know that they just take it to a place that gets burnt. So the plastic's getting burnt, it's causing toxins, that's causing health issues. I know that's not contributing, that's contributing to destruction, not regeneration. And so I've actually I'm a bit hoarded. I'm holding on to my rubbish a little bit more than I normally would because I'm in the process and I've been crazy busy at the moment, which life happens, but that's why I'm holding on to the rubbish. And I'm hoping to contact Eco Bali, who look after the recycling here, and ask if I can create a system where I actually have their bags and I manually bring it down. Because normally you have their bags and they'll come and pick it up where you are. But obviously I'm up here in the jungle, and I'm thinking if I get big enough bags and then once a fortnight at the latest I'm down there and I can drop my rubbish off, my recycling off, then at least I've started contributing to a more regenerative life than a destructive life. Does that make sense? So that's one decision that I'm currently working on. And it's each time I'm working on something. Last week it was mold. It's like I don't want to buy chemical products out of plastic. What can I use that I already have that's natural, and so forth. And so that's what it's about to be a regenerative lifestyle person, is to start to make those decisions. Even like composting, which is part of the waste issue, right? That compost in nature, like natural waste, fruit, vegetables, any kind of, any grains, any waste from something that you would normally eat from the garden, that is actual gold for rebuilding soil and growing soil. And so when we can understand that, we've got organisations, for those people that live in apartments, that, there are small little box, I think it's Bokashi recycling kits composting kits that you can get for like apartments and things. However, there's also an organisation called makesoil.org. I'll put a link in the bio for that. You can connect and find where your closest composting place is so that you're contributing to help build soil, which will prevent, because one of the things that I heard from Paul Hawken speak is that, and he wrote the book Drawdown, is that one of the things that Paul Hawken said in his book Drawdown was that the number 2 cause of pollution and destruction is the fact that when food waste is combined with plastic and waste that doesn't waste inside our tips, inside our dumps, it causes methane. And methane is a very highly toxic. It's needed in the atmosphere, but not at the amounts that can be going up. A lot of people were blaming the cows, but if you bring the cows out and put them in a regenerative pasture, that reduces. And in fact, I was part of the soil advocacy training. I was learning about there's organisms, when you have it in a regenerative process, there are organisms that actually eat the methane. So anyway, I diverse. So coming back to making soil, making compost, that's a key. When you start making those decisions and we have less food waste going out into our dumps, you've contributed to regenerative lifestyle. So there's another piece that you can start to think about. Another thing is chemicals, like cleaning your house with chemicals. I use a lot of essential oils, and so essential oils are a great way, and companies like Young Living, which is who I choose to get my products from. They're all amazing, as long as you check that they are quality. And one of the things I look in is making sure that their farms are organic and moving towards regenerative, which I've started to research into for Young Living, which I'm starting to see they are thinking about those things. So that's really important to me. So that's another thing is the product you're buying, looking further down the chain of what's happening. We have, as a human race, we've started to notice fair trade, making sure that we're not picking products that are causing issues down the track for people that are slaves and not being paid well and all that kind of stuff. So buying products, it's not just about fair trade, but it's also that it's, regenerative. Is it being grown in a farm that's using chemicals, or is it being grown in a farm that's actually thinking about the future and growing soil? So that's another thing. Then you can start thinking about the energy you're using, can you switch more to renewables, all those kind of things. So I like to think of it as in three things. Energy, what energy am I using? So my own food, how's it grown? Maybe I'll start my own little veggie garden and then make sure the rest is coming from farmers markets and farmers that are using regenerative methods. Soil, so think of electricity and petrol. So how do you use those things? And can you move towards a more renewable resource? One thing that's really cool is there's a company called, I think they're called Biogas. I'll put a link down into their website. They create a composting unit that you put your food waste in. It creates this gas that you can then hook up to your gas stove and cook with it. Talk about creating your own fuel. That is a beautiful cycle. So that is what we're looking for. So that's energy-wise. Then it's waste. So energy, waste, and then the third is cleanup. In my opinion, we've caused a lot of issues, so we need to clean up the mess that we have done. Eventually, if we create a society in a human race that has systems and processes that align with nature, we will thrive and we won't need to worry about the cleanup. The cleanup, once we've cleaned up the mess and we've learnt from our mistakes and we've used that plastic in the ocean and any other product that has been created that we haven't been able to waste properly, we've eventually found a way to make it become a fuel then and brought it back into the cycle, then our planet starts to thrive again. Because if we align with nature, it naturally thrives, and so will us. So even, on a personal level, if you start eating more food that's more coming from regenerative, the nutrients are higher, and less processed food and food that gets wasted, your health will just naturally thrive. That's the funny thing. If we just align with nature, you will become healthy. You won't need to take all these medications and all those kind of things. It will naturally happen. And so that is why Thriving with Nature is born, and why I'm really passionate about helping people learn to live regenerative lifestyles so that we become the solution rather than the problem. So yeah, I just wanted to share that with you this morning. I'm really excited. There's a few exciting things coming down the track for Thriving with Nature that are in the working, and I want to get it fully clear before I start to share it publicly, but just stay tuned. There's some exciting things happening. So from this episode, I hope you think, I offer this invitation to join a growing audience of us that are learning to go, okay, I want to be a contribution to the solution. I want to help this planet thrive and my health thrive. So what can I do today in those three areas that I can help? How can I switch my energy to be more renewable? That might not be an immediate thing you can do, but you could do the biogas thing where you put your food in this little bag thing and then it turns into gas. So that was energy. Waste, how can I at least recycle and renew and start to buy products that are thinking about their waste and how they're wasted? And thirdly, what can I do to help contribute to cleaning up? So there's programs like Ocean Cleanup. Emily Penn is doing some amazing work. I interviewed her earlier, I think it's episode 4. She's helping with understanding the plastic in the ocean as well and what you could do. Then there's reforestation, so contributing. There's a company in Australia called Reforest Now, and so there's the other organisations you can donate to help clean up and start reforesting and regenerating our planet. So yeah, so that is the episode. So see, I give you that invitation, and I'm curious. Come into the website thrivingwithnature.com, or click the link below to come to the direct link, and comment and share what has this inspired you to do something, or is this something that you've been thinking about, how you could be part of the solution rather than the problem. I'm really curious to hear. Otherwise, you can see me on Instagram, Thriving with Nature, or Facebook, and reach out. I'd love to hear from you. All right, lovely Thrivers, have a beautiful day, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Bye. Hey, if you enjoyed listening to my podcast, remember to subscribe to hear more. You also have to come check out the Living Supplement Garden, a garden that reads your individual's body's condition and grows the substances it requires to move towards optimal health and potentially healing your ailments. When we align with nature, we thrive with nature. I'd love to have you join myself and others as we discover the magic of nature together and strive to heal both ourselves and our planet. Go to thrivingwithnature.com.